Um, Hello, thank you for tuning in today. My name is Lydia Kim, and I'm a student representative for UNICEF USA's student chapter at the University of Michigan. For World Health Day 2022, UNICEF-UM is conducting a week-long initiative to raise awareness about childhood health and well-being and how they are impacted by various forces. Today, we're talking about adverse childhood experiences and the role of trauma on pain in adulthood with Dr. Jennifer Pierce, a research investigator in the Department of Anesthesiology at the University of Michigan and a principal investigator of the Pain and Social Experiences Project at the Back and Pain Center. Dr. Pierce, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Could we start off by explaining what adverse childhood experiences are and how this intertwines with the research you conduct for the Pain and Social Experiences Project?
Sure. So adverse childhood experiences are potentially traumatic experiences that happen during childhood from birth to 17 years of age. These include experiencing abuse or neglect, witnessing violence in the home or in the community, and growing up in a household in which an adult experiences problems with substance use or mental health. According to the CDC, almost 2/3 of study participants in the ACEs study reported at least one adverse childhood experience. And the ACE score itself is a sum of different categories of adverse childhood experiences that individuals report. And studies generally show a graded relationship between the number of ACEs that an individual reports and negative health outcomes. So at the Back and Pain Center at the University of Michigan, we've surveyed adult Michigan medicine patients to look at how life experiences impact pain. And one of the things that we're looking at is the role of ACEs. Our data suggests that compared to those without chronic pain, which is persistent or recurrent pain for 3 months or more, those with chronic pain more often report numerous types of ACEs, such as abuse and neglect during childhood, witnessing violence in the home, substance use or mental illness in the home, bullying, and also low resources. We're continuing to look at these associations to better understand how they're connected.
That is actually so interesting and like such a relevant topic of today and just everything that's going around. From your previous research and publications, it was shown that the neighborhood and the social context that children grow up in is heavily influenced by future expectations, levels of hope and purpose, just like you just said. What would you say are the major barriers children experience that diminishes their hope and positive future expectations? And what is some guidance for children to overcome these barriers, and especially also adulthoods, because that's like the specific area you guys are looking at?
Sure. So I think it's important to recognize the multiple systems in which individuals are embedded. So when we think about what's called like ecological systems theory, we see these bi-directional dynamic development occurring with the child nested in multiple systems. So not only in the family, but also the schools, the community, peer groups, religious organizations, healthcare systems, and on through these larger sources of influence. So at a developmental level, we see the importance of these different systems shift. So in early childhood, the home environment is everything. This also means that the child who's experiencing severe adversity in the home is potentially isolated. But as children move across development, they begin going to school. They engage, hopefully, with different community members. Hopefully, they build relationships and friendships in the community. And the community that an individual lives in can be a source of strength and resilience, such as by providing resources and opportunities. And this can foster hope and positive expectations for the future. However, when ACEs in the home are compounded by an under-resourced community, poor social relationships, or a lack of social support from other caring adults, the adversity can be hard to overcome. So rather than shifting kind of the need for children to work to overcome this adversity, I think it's important for communities to recognize the importance of those around these children and to really build up those resources for them.
Yeah, definitely. That totally makes sense considering like the community you grow up in is kind of like also considered a child's culture and like the environment that they grow up in can definitely influence like their point of view throughout their life and
Right.
just like who they are as a person growing up.
Absolutely.
So also to just go off that in general, how does ACE contribute to physical health in adulthood?
And so the link between adverse childhood experiences and physical health in adulthood is really complex. So adverse childhood experiences can cause prolonged stress or what's called toxic stress. And this leads to altered development in numerous domains. So researchers such as like Vander Kolk and Miller et al., they've all suggested that adversity kind of lives in the body. It becomes embedded or biologically programmed, and it changes the way that the body responds to subsequent stressors. But there's also effects on social, emotional, and cognitive development, such as impaired emotion regulation, impaired social information processing, difficulties in relationships and attachment disruptions, cognitive impairment, heightened sensory sensitivity, and also sleep difficulties. So there may also be attempts to cope with this adversity through behavior like substance use. And these alterations in like functioning and coping attempts, they may actually be adaptive. So those things might help the individual survive in that particular environment, but they don't work well in the long run and in other environments. And in the end, these things may instead negatively impact health and well-being. And another factor to consider is the continuation of adversity. So recent research by Bergen et al. Has found that cumulative childhood adversity is associated with cumulative trauma in adulthood. And all of these things just build and build, and they really, like I said, they live in the body, and that can result in poor health and well-being.
That is just so unfortunate to hear and like also so frustrating at the same
Yeah.
time because it's like there's only so much that one can do to like help this issue and like kind of contribute to it. Um, but on a positive note, Dr. Pierce, once again, thank you so much for being here today and teaching us so much about adverse childhood experiences and the role of trauma in adulthood. And for more information about this topic and Dr. Smith's work, you can go to our Instagram or our website, unicef-um.org. And we hope you follow along and tune into our panel on climate change and children's health this Thursday, April 7th at 7 p.m. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.